Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Was Banished and Trained by Saturo Gojo Part 2 Junin Exams Arc. After Team 7's last mission. The Hokage decided to give them 4 days off. Naruto used the Hirshin to visit Mei Terumi, another of Naruto's girlfriends. He also went to see Haku and Tsunami. He also spend the rest of his days off with Kurama, Anko and Tsume. Naruto met Mei during the Bloodline Wars. He helped Mei and her army defeat Yagura, the 4th Mizukage. After Yagura's demise. Naruto had decided to ask Mei out on a date. She said yes. After a few months they decided to become a item. Back to now. They did about 10D rank missions, while the Chunin exams were fast approaching. Kakashi got his team together and showed up on time for once, probably to avoid pissing off Sakura. They were standing on a small bridge. "Guys, I'm really proud of all of you," said Kakashi, smiling as he appeared on the rail of the bridge. "You have all come a long way, so I have recommended all of you for the Chunin exams. If you want to participate, go tomorrow to room 301 in the academy and submit these applications," said Kakashi, throwing one to all 3 of them. "Bye," said Kakashi before disappearing with body flicker. Sasuke walked off and Sakura followed, trying to get a date as she obviously didn't get the hint that Sasuke wasn't interested. Naruto decided to get some ramen. As Naruto was heading to Ichiraku's, he heard Konohamaru yelling, "Let me go." Naruto went to where he heard the commotion and saw a blonde girl with her hair in 4 pigtails with a battle fan. She wore a single light purple colored, off-the-shoulders garment that extended halfway down her thighs, with a scarlet sash tied around her waist. In addition to incorporating fishnet worn over her shoulders and legs, specifically on her right calf and her left thigh, she also wore a headband around her neck, which depicted an Hercules and a boy who wore a black baggy full bodysuit with a red and yellow circle on the front. He also wore a black hood with cat-like ears and his forehead protector, which also depicted an Hercules on his forehead, and was squeezing Konohamaru painfully by his scarf. "Then Kuro, put him down, you're going to get us in trouble," said the girl. "Relax, Temari, we've got a bit of time until he gets here, we might as well have some fun," replied the boy. Naruto now knew to be named Kankuro. "I suggest you listen to the pretty girl, as it is clear that she has a brain while you do not," said Naruto, slightly mocking as he took off his blindfold. Temari was surprised that this kid had just insulted her brother and blushed at the compliment of a handsome Naruto, while Kankuro snarled at being called brainless. "You know what, kid, you've offended me, so I'm going to teach this boy your lesson. Respect your betters," said Kankuro, who pulled back a fist and was about to slug Konohamaru in the face. Naruto appeared in an instant with a kunai pressed against Kankuro's neck. "Like I said, I suggest you listen, and you are not my better," said Naruto with disdain in his voice for this weakling. Kankuro let Konohamaru down and let him move away and leave the area while Naruto backed off. He then pulled off what looked to be a mummy of his back. "What are you doing, Kankuro? Are you going to use the crow for this?" asked Temari, slightly worried. "Kankuro, you are an embarrassment to our village," said a voice from nowhere which sounded bored. The owner of the voice appeared in a swirl of sand in front of his comrades. "Oh hey Gaara," said Kankuro, scared. He turned and faced Naruto. He wore a black full bodysuit with t-shirt-like sleeves, 3/4 length legs, and an open neck. With this, he wore a white cloth over his right shoulder and the left side of his hips, and a wide leather band system over the left shoulder and right side of his hips. With this leather band, he carried what appeared to be a gourd. His forehead protector was wrapped around the band. His eyes appeared a bluish green and had dark black circles around them. "So this is the vessel of the one-tailed raccoon Shukaku," said Kyuubi. "Do you know this kid?" thought Naruto. "No, but I know the tailed beast inside him, he is just like you," replied Kyuubi. "I apologize for my brother," said Gaara, bowing deeply. "I accept your apology, but I would like to ask you something," said Naruto. "Why has the raccoon come to the leaf?" he asked. Temari and Kankuro's eyes widened, but Gaara's almost popped out of his head before he clutched his head in pain. "It appears that the seal on that vessel hasn't been done properly and Shukaku is tormenting his host. Tell the vessel that Shukaku better lay off tormenting his vessel or I'll come out," said Kyuubi. "Gaara, tell your tenant to listen, and that if he doesn't stop tormenting you, the fox will come out to play," said Naruto, grinning. Gaara immediately stopped screaming and raised his head, panting slightly. "Thank you for that," said Gaara, bowing once again. "However, even though you have helped me, if we meet in battle I will kill you," said Gaara, releasing his bloodlust and killer intent to try and intimidate Naruto. Naruto smiled back and released twice as much, while saying looking forward to it. As the siblings were leaving, Naruto asked, "What are your names?" The girl quickly replied and said, "I'm Temari, that's Kankuro, and he is Gaara," she said, gesturing to each in turn. Naruto nodded and said, "I'm Naruto Uzumaki Gojo, and Gaara, I empathize with your pain, and I wish to help you, but you better not hurt any of my friends. If you do, I will show you very little mercy." "We shall see," said Gaara before they all walked off, with Naruto forgetting about ramen and heading home. "It seems the Chunin exams will be interesting, huh Kurama?" thought Naruto. So it seems, but why did you say you wanted to help? Inquired Kurama. Did you see it? In his eyes I saw he has suffered a great deal and has most likely been shunned, which has made him how he is today, which could have easily happened to me if I didn't have you, Father Anko, Tsum. If I help him, even though I am but one person, that may be enough to save him before he descends into madness and bloodlust from which he can't be saved. Thought Naruto. You really are something else, darling. Said Kurama admiringly. With that, Naruto headed home and got ready for the Chunin exams, which were only around the corner. The next day, Naruto met up with Sasuke and Sakura along his walk to the academy, so they all went together. When they arrived on the second floor, they saw a boy named Rock Lee in green spandex being beaten up by 2 guards. Naruto instantly knew he was faking being weak. While he wondered about this, he saw the boy's female teammate Tenten. She was in her attire, a pink sleeveless blouse and dark green pants with her hair up in 2 buns with her forehead protector just under her fringe on her forehead, and was next to the boy talking to the guards. As she walked over to them, one guard was about to hit her. Naruto appeared in an instant and blocked the punch aimed at her. You know it's not nice to hit a lady. Said Naruto. Most of those around were surprised at how fast Naruto moved. Sasuke walked up with Sakura close behind and said, well, you're at it, drop the genjutsu, it's pathetic. Most were wondering what Sasuke was talking about until the guard spoke up, so you saw through the genjutsu, huh? The guard charged Sasuke while Sasuke begun to swing a kick. In an instant Lee appeared between both and stopped them with his hands. That's some chakra he's got in his arm. Thought Sasuke. What are you doing? Aren't you the one who said we should hide our true strength, Lee? Said Neji, a boy who had piercing wide eyes with a slight lavender tint to them, while walking up to Lee. The boy had noticeably long black hair which reached the middle of his back and was tied back a few inches above the end, while 2 straps attached to a smaller headband underneath his ninja forehead protector framed the sides of his face. He had very fair skin, and he also wore a black headband that he wore snugly over his forehead. He wore a khaki shirt, dark brown shorts, and blue shinobi sandals. He also had bandages wrapped around his right arm, chest, and right leg. Sorry, but Lee broke off and looked at Sakura and then blushed. My name is Rock Lee. You are Sakura, right? Please be my girlfriend, I vow to protect you with my life. Lee said to Sakura. Definitely no. Sakura said. Why? Lee, because you are weirdo. Sakura. Lee got a little sad hearing this. Naruto laughed. Hey you, what is your name? Neji said to Sasuke. It is common courtesy to give your own name before asking someone else's. Sasuke. Hey, you are a rookie, aren't you? How old are you? Neji. I am not obliged to answer that. Sasuke. What's that? Neji. Hey Sasuke, Naruto, come on, let's go. Sakura. After she said that, they went to walk to the examination room. But they were stopped by Lee. Hey you with the attitude, hold on. Lee said to Sasuke. What do you want? Sasuke. I want to fight right here and right now. Lee. You want to fight me here and now? Sasuke. Yes. My name is Rock Lee. You said it is common courtesy for a challenger to give his name first, Sasuke Uchiha. Lee. So you know me? Sasuke. I challenge you? Everyone is always talking about the Uchiha clan and how great they are. I want to see if it is true. I figured you would be a good test for me. And also Sakura, I love you. Lee. No, I would never love someone like you. Those eyebrows of yours are gross. Sakura screamed. Why the hell does this guy like Sakura? I wonder what the hell he sees in her. I hope he gives Sasuke a good beat down. Thought Naruto. You have heard of the Uchiha clan and yet you are challenging me. You must be even more psycho than you look. If that is possible. You want to know more about my clan, then I will teach you the hard way. Sasuke. Bring it on. Lee said. Excellent, a match up against the number 1 rookie. I will draw him out and get him to reveal his technique, and I will prove myself to you guys, sensei. Lee thought. Okay, let's fight. Sasuke. You should take this serious. I am currently the strongest genin in the leaf. Finally interested, Sasuke accepts his challenge and attacks. He's instantly met with Lee's leaf whirlwind and goes flying backwards. Getting back up, Sasuke prepares, resorting to his Sharingan to figure out Lee's technique this time. Again, this is futile, and Lee explains it's because his techniques are neither ninjutsu or jinjutsu, but mere taijutsu, also known as martial arts. But hand-to-hand combat, the Sharingan isn't helpful. Even if he can see the techniques, one's body cannot move fast enough to react. Lee uses the shadow of the dancing leaf to kick off his next move in order to finish off Sasuke, but a large turtle stops him before he carries this out. The turtle seemingly reprimands Lee for using a forbidden technique, leaving Team 7 to think the turtle is Lee's sensei. Might Guy, his actual sensei, appears on top of the turtle and punches Lee across the face as punishment, proceeding to hug him and cry afterward. Team 7 are dumbstruck, and Sasuke can't believe he was beaten by what he perceives as a freak. Guy asks the team how his eternal rival, Kakashi, is doing. He's ahead in their match record, which stands at 50 wins and 49 losses. Guy also says that he is much faster and stronger than Kakashi. When Guy leaves, Lee confesses that he is not the strongest genin Niji Haika, his teammate is. Naruto needles Sasuke, saying that Lee obviously trains harder than him. In the end, the team focuses their attention on the Chunin exams. After the fight, the Team 7 and Lee all headed to room 301, where the first phase of the Chunin exam would be held. When they got there they were greeted by Kiba. So once again the rookies are together again. Hyakamaru, said Kiba. Ino hugged Sasuke from behind, causing Sakura to begin yelling at her, and this kept up for a while. So troublesome, said the familiar voice of Shikamaru with Choji close behind munching on chips. Well Shikamaru, I didn't expect to see you here. Isn't this too much work for you? Asked Naruto half joking half surprised. Yeah, but Asuma made us, so here we are. Yo, you look different now Naruto, replied Shikamaru sounding very bored. Wait, that is Naruto. Kiba and Ino pointed to Naruto. You guys might want to keep it down, you're attracting a lot of attention, said a boy with black eyes with grey hair kept in a ponytail wearing circular glasses. He also wore a dark purple shirt with a white undershirt and a white sash around his waist worn at an angle, dark purple pants, blue sandals, and a shuriken holster on his right leg. Who are you? Asked Sasuke. Me? I'm Kabuto Yakushi. You must be the rookie genin, he stated. Yeah, we are, replied Sasuke. Well, maybe I can help you out then, said Kabuto. He then proceeded to talk about who came to the exams and what generally happened, as well as his 7-in-a-row streak of failure and finally his ninja info cards. Show me what you have on Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee and Naruto Uzumaki, said Sasuke. Naruto smirked at Sasuke. Okay, first up Gaara of the Desert. His teammates are Temari and Kankuro of the Desert, who are also his siblings, and it says here he has completed 8 C ranks and a B rank without getting a single scratch. In fact, he has never been injured. The genin were stunned until Kabuto moved on. Rock Lee teammates Niji Hyuga and Tenten, Sensei Might Guy. His taijutsu has increased dramatically over the past 12 months, but the rest of his skills are virtually non-existent. He has completed 20 D ranks and 11 C ranks. Lastly, Naruto Uzumaki says here you've done 20 D ranks and an A rank, impressive. You have cage level chakra capacity and mid chunin to low jounin skill level in ninjutsu. Your jinjutsu skills are basic at best, while your taijutsu low chunin and kinjutsu skills zeri. Additionally, you can do the shadow clone jutsu. Said Kabuto. As Kabuto finished, the entire room was quite shocked about Naruto's skill level, while almost all the others were extremely curious how strong Naruto really is. Naruto and Shikamaru grew suspicious of Kabuto, because he had classified information that only a cage would have access to. Well, it seems you have the attention of all the villages, even the Little Sound village seems interested, said Kabuto. Well, it doesn't matter. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Gojo, and I will beat every single one of you, proclaimed Naruto. Hey, that guy called us little, said one of the Sound genin. He had spiky dark hair and dark eyes. He wore a beige shirt with 2 black stripes and 3 prints which said death down the front. His forehead protector had a face guard. As with his teammates, he wore a snake-patterned scarf around his neck. Well, let's teach him a lesson, said the other Sound genin. He had bandages covering most of his face, leaving only his left eye uncovered. He also wore a large poncho with long sleeves, a snake-patterned scarf around his neck, and a straw raincoat protruding from the back of his scarf. His back was hunched, which made him look smaller than he actually was. The Sound team dashed around the room before the one who spoke first threw a kunai at Kabuto, who jumped back to avoid them. However, in an instant the genin, who looked like a mummy, revealed a gauntlet with holes in it and swung his fist, barely missing Kabuto. Kabuto stood up and then his glasses broke. Oh, I see, it was that kind of an attack, he said, taking off his glasses. However, something else was happening and he clutched his stomach in pain, coughing up blood. Kabuto, are you alright? Asked Naruto and Sakura. Put this in your information. The genin of the Sound will all be chunin when this exam is over, said the Sound ninja who threw the kunai. Suddenly a large cloud of smoke appeared and about 16 leaf ninja were revealed as the smoke faded away. The big one in the middle had a sadistic grin and said, I am Ibiki Marino, the first proctor of these chunin exams, and as of now, your worst nightmare. Chunin exams phase 1. Alright, now first things first, there is to be no unauthorized fighting in this exam, that includes you genin of the Sound, announced Ibiki. Ibiki had a large, imposing figure, which was complemented with a face covered with old wounds and scars. Ibiki's head was covered with the cloth of his forehead protector, and he had a long dark blue cloak on. Sorry, it's our first time, said the mummy-looking genin. Ibiki glared at the genin but continued. Secondly, this exam starts now. You will each take a piece of paper from one of the chunin behind me, and the number you receive is where you will sit. The genin walked forward, took a number, and then found their seats in the modified classroom. When everyone was seated, Ibiki spoke. Now the first part of the chunin exams is a written test. Murmurs broke out, but they were all silenced by Ibiki's glare. However, before we begin, there are some rules. Ibiki wrote on a chalkboard while speaking at the same time. Rule 1, the test works on a point deduction system. Unlike regular tests, you all start off with a perfect score of 10 points. If you answer 3 questions wrong your score is 7. Rule 2, every time a person is caught cheating they will lose 2 points, get caught cheating 5 times and you fail. That is what the sentinels you see to your sides are for, they will monitor you. Anyone caught cheating doesn't deserve to be here. Finally you will be scored together with your team, and if one person on your team gets a 0 you all fail. The 10th question will be given out 45 minutes from now. Finished Ibiki. Sakura paled and started worrying about Naruto getting a 0, as she still didn't think he was intelligent, but rather, saw him as an idiot. Now begin, announced Ibiki. Everyone started to read the questions, and many quickly realized that they didn't know the answers for many, if not all of the questions, and came to the conclusion that they had to cheat. There were many different methods of cheating such as using Dijutsu, using pets to find answers, mirrors and even jutsus. Naruto used his 6 eyes to copy the answers. Now all I have to do is sit back and wait, thought Naruto. As Naruto was about to lean back a kunai whizzed past his face and into the chest of the person behind him. What was that all about? Asked the genin. 5 strikes and you're out, you just failed the test, said the chunin who threw the kunai. What, it can't be, cried the genin. The trend of failure continued and many teams failed, about 15 in total, and now the time of the 10th question was approaching. Kankuro chose that time to walk in just as Ibiki was getting ready to ask the 10th question. Ah, you've returned. I hope your trip to the bathroom was enlightening, said Ibiki with a small grin. Kankuro appeared nervous but walked back to his seat while dropping a tiny rolled up scroll near to Mari. Now listen carefully and try not to let the rules frighten you. Very well, rule number 1, each of you is free to not take the question, it's your decision. Begun Ibiki. Whoa, so what's the catch? Say we don't want to take the question, asked Mari. If you refuse to take the 10th question regardless of your answers to the other 9 you get a 0, meaning you fail along with your teammates, replied Ibiki. Murmurs went around of people saying that they would definitely take the question before Ibiki spoke. You didn't let me finish. If you choose to take the question and answer it wrong, you and your teammates will be barred from taking the Chunin exams forever. Hey, that's bull, there are lots of people who have taken this exam before, said Kiba angrily. Ibiki chuckled and said, I guess you're just unlucky, I wasn't making the rules before, but I am now. Of course if you don't want to take it you don't have to. If you're not feeling confident then by all means skip it and come back and try again next year, said Ibiki, who then laughed. Now then, the 10th question, those who don't want to take it raise your hand. Your number will be recorded and then you're free to go, finished Ibiki. After a while the person next to Naruto cracked, I'm out, he said, and apologized to his teammates. As soon as this happened many more quit. Sakura watched Naruto and thought he wouldn't put his hand up because he was stubborn. I can't let you do this to yourself, Naruto, thought Sakura while she begun to raise her hand. Naruto saw this happening and realized Sakura didn't know he had the answers, so he did something drastic, he raised his hand first. Many people were shocked at this turn of events, but then Naruto slammed his hand down and stood up. Don't underestimate me, I don't quit and I don't run. You can act tough all you want, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care if I'm stuck as a genin for the rest of my life, I'll still be the strongest man, finished Naruto before sitting down. There, that stopped her, thought Naruto in relief. This decision is one that could change your life. If for any reason you would rather quit, now is your last chance, said Ibiki. No way, I never go back on my word, that's my way of the ninja, replied Naruto confidently. Interesting, that little outburst has given the others some backbone. He has persuaded them into staying. 78 left, more than I expected, but I don't see anyone wavering. I think that's it, thought Ibiki while looking around. The Chunin nodded to him and he nodded back. Well then, I admire your determination. If nothing else, for those of you remaining, there is only one thing left to do, and that's for me to tell you. You all passed the first exam, said Ibiki. What, do you mean we pass? Where is the 10th question? Asked Sakura. There wasn't one, or at least not a written one. Your decision to stay here was the answer to the 10th question, said Ibiki, smiling widely. So does that mean those other 9 questions you gave us were just a waste of time? Is that what you're saying? Asked Mari. No, not at all, quite the opposite. They had a very important underlying purpose. The first 9 questions were to test your ability to surreptitiously gather strategic intelligence under the most adverse circumstances, informed Ibiki. Oh well, that clears up everything, said Tamari, confused. Let me explain. My objective was to test how well you function as a part of a team, which is why you were scored as a team, so you would know that everything you would do or fail to do would affect your teammates. I wanted to see how you would cope with the pressure. The first 9 questions on the test were difficult, or as you may have realized, too difficult for any genin to be able to solve. I imagine many of you quickly realized you had to cheat to have any chance of passing. In fact, the test was designed to encourage cheating, it almost demanded it. Of course it would have done you little good if you had no one to cheat from, which is why I had two Chunin disguised to sit in with you. Those who were caught at it failed. Better not to cheat than to cheat clumsily. Information, it can be the most valuable weapon in battle. How well you gather it can be the difference between failure and success. There will be times when you will have to risk your life to get in," said Ibiki, taking off his forehead protector and revealing a mangled skull. "Man, what a mess. Scars and puncture wounds, what he must have endured," whispered Sasuke. "Of course you must always consider the source of your information. Intelligence gathered from the enemy is not necessarily accurate, always bear this in mind. Disinformation can be worse than no information at all. It can lead to the death of comrades or the loss of a village. That's why I put you in the position that you would have to gather accurate intelligence, cheat in order to survive, and that's why those who weren't good enough at it were weeded out, leaving the rest of you," finished Ibiki. "Okay, but I'm still not getting what the whole 10th question thing is all about," said Temari. "You're not, the 10th question was the whole point of the exam, surely you see that?" asked Ibiki. "Sure, but explain it anyway," said Sakura. "As I said before, the purpose was to test you as part of a squad, not just individuals. The final question gave you two options, both difficult, play it safe knowing that would mean you fail or take a risk and possibly be stuck as a genin forever. It was a no-win situation, the type Chunin have to deal with every day. Let me give you a hypothetical, you need to retrieve a sacred document. You have no idea how many ninja there are guarding it, furthermore you have reason to believe they expect you. Can you pass up the mission to live another day? No, of course not. Many missions Chunin take appear almost suicidal if you think about them, but you do not think about them, you think only of accomplishing the mission through courage and discipline. These are the qualities required of a Chunin squad leader. Those who choose the safer of two paths, those whose determination would falter in the face of adversity, those who would put their comrades' lives in jeopardy worrying about their own lives, those who would save their necks at the price of sacred honor, will never be able to call themselves Chunin, at least while I'm around. As for the rest of you, you have successfully answered the 10 questions I put to you. You have earned the right to continue on with the next step. You have passed through the first gate, and I hereby declare this part of the Chunin selection exams completed. There is nothing left but to wish you all good luck," said Ibiki. Just then something flew through the window. Two kunai attached to a cloth were thrown into the roof, and a person emerged. The person had light brown, pupil-less eyes. Her violet hair was done up in a short, somewhat spiky ponytail. She was wearing a tan overcoat, complete with a fitted mesh bodysuit that stretched from her neck down to her thighs. She wore a dark orange miniskirt, as well as a leaf forehead protector, a small pendant that looked like a snake fang on a thick cord, rather than a chain to prevent it from being easily torn off in combat, a wristwatch, and shin guards. She also wore a dark blue belt around her waist that connected to her skirt that had an appendage-like sash. "This isn't the time to be celebrating. I'm your next proctor, Anko Mitarashi," said the woman. "Chunin exams phase 2. You're early, again," said Ibiki. Anko blushed in embarrassment. She then looked around before speaking. "How many are there?" "Ibiki, you let all these guys pass. Your test was too easy, you must be getting soft. Or it could be a stronger group of candidates this year," replied Ibiki. "Trust me, when I'm through with them, more than half will be eliminated," she said with a sadistic smirk. "More than half?" asked Sakura fearfully. "This is going to be fun. You maggots have had it easy so far, but things are going to be different now. Go home now and I'll tell your squad leaders where and when to meet me for the second exam." "Dismissed," said Anko. All of the Chunin candidates left. "I'm Skip Naruto House, so you are the proctor for the second phase. So what is the test about, Naruto? Where is the fun in that?" "I will tell you tomorrow with the rest of them." Anko. "Or you could just tell me now." Naruto. "Nah, not happening." Anko. The next day, the genin were standing in front of a forest surrounded by metal gates 3 meters high, with heaps of locks and warning signs. "Well, nice place." "What is it?" said Kiba. "This is the location for the second stage of the exam, the 44th battle training zone, but we call it the Forest of Death," said Anko. "Wow, this place creeps me out," said Sakura. "Well, we call it the Forest of Death for a reason, and soon enough you're going to find out why," said Anko, grinning. Kiba huffed before mocking Anko. "They call it the Forest of Death, and soon enough you're going to find out why. Who do you think you're trying to intimidate? Do your worst. So looks like we've got a tough guy," said Anko, smiling before throwing a kunai at Kiba. The kunai scratched his cheek. After throwing the kunai, Anko body flickered behind Kiba and told him it is always the cocky ones that die first. "Now before we begin this test, I have something you all need to sign and agree to. It is a standard consent form which shows that if you die, the Leaf and I are in no way accountable, otherwise if you die I would be held responsible," said Anko, who then started laughing. "This test is a survival test you need to get through the battle zone. You will each enter through one of the 44 entrances and need to make your way to the center, to a locked tower. To pass, all you need to do is get a set of these two scrolls, one heaven and the other earth, and arrive at the tower with all of your teammates. Finished Anko. Both scrolls? Asked Sasuke. Yeah, so half will be going after the heaven scroll, while the other half will be going after the earth scroll. Anything goes, but there is only one rule, you must never open either scroll. Said Anko seriously. The genin signed the forms. After signing them, Anko assigned the teams to a gate. All the genin arrived at a gate and waited until the signal was given at 3 p.m. Time passed until there were 10 seconds to go. Alright maggots, the second test begins in 3, 2, 1, now, announced Anko. The gates opened and all the teams rushed in. Only 5 minutes in, the sounds of a team screaming were heard outside of the forest. Looks like the fun has begun. I feel sorry for the other participants. They don't stand a chance against Naruto. Said Anko. But Team 7. Okay, I'm going to go ambush a team. You two head to the tower. Said Naruto. Just why should we listen to you, loser? Sasuke asked. Yeah, what can you do on your own? Asked Sakura. Naruto entered his tailless fox form and said, I can get the scroll. Keep in mind that I am stronger than the two of you. Also, I don't go back on my word, so trust me, I'll get the scroll. Sasuke grumbled, but he knew that Naruto was right and that he was capable and the strongest. Fine, but if you die, loser, I'll bring you back and kill you again for making us fail. Said Sasuke while smirking. No, that applies to you as well, Ichiha. After all, you won't be able to avenge anyone if you're dead. Replied Naruto arrogantly. Sasuke huffed and he along with Sakura left. But Naruto was tracking down the sand team due to his enhanced sense of smell and Kyuubi's chakra. He tracked them down and saw that they were setting up traps. One had wire which he was looping around the trees and certain branches, while the other was placing paper bombs in the spots furthest away from any ninja wire to trap those who escaped the wire, while the last kept watch. Seeing his chance, Naruto knocked out the one on watch and caught his body so he wouldn't make a sound. The remaining sand ninja were oblivious. Naruto then threw a three-pronged kunai in between both, but a fair distance away from them, flashed halfway to it in a blaze of orange, which caused him to appear directly in between them, luckily, and proceeded to use wind release. Vacuum sword on the first, sending him flying into a tree and out cold, and quickly used fire style brand fireball jutsu on the other. The sand ninja dodged, but Naruto appeared behind him and gave him a quick chop to the neck, knocking him out cold. Naruto searched him and found the earth scroll they needed, pocketed it, and left to rejoin his team. But Sasuke and Sakura were hopping along the trees and were about halfway to the tower when Sasuke felt that they were being followed. Sasuke put his hand out and mouthed follow to Sakura, and she understood. They set up a few wire traps which would launch kunai if tripped, but other than that kept going as fast as they could to the tower. When they were only about 500 meters away, a kunai with an explosive tag attached to it landed near them. They all jumped away before it exploded and looked in the direction it came from. The grass ninja with a straw hat was there and looked at Sasuke before speaking. I think your trap-making skills need some work, although maybe you were in a rush, after all the prey must never let down its guard in the face of its predator. The ninja looked them all in the eye and they all saw their deaths. Sasuke and Sakura were greatly affected by the grass ninja's killing intent. Sasuke and Sakura were paralyzed by fear. They couldn't move an inch. Orochimaru used this opportunity to give Sasuke the curse mark. When Sasuke received the mark, he became unconscious. Oh, it seems your teammate is on his way here. Orochimaru said he disappeared. Just, who was that? Asked Sakura, who was still rather shaken. But Naruto was halfway to his team when he felt a dark presence near him. He dodged a sword strike. The unusual thing was that this sword was being held by a tongue. Naruto jumped back to avoid the second slash aimed at his head and to survey his opponent. It was a grass ninja wearing a straw hat and had an abnormally long tongue. Well, it seems that you aren't as helpless as your teammates, though it would seem. Said the ninja while swallowing his sword. The ninja then proceeded to release some of his killer intent, but Naruto released twice as much. What did you do to my team? Also, why do you reek of snake? Asked Naruto. Interesting, to think you can stand up and return my killing intent. As for your first question, I gave your teammate Sasuke a little mark which will give him the power he seeks. Said the ninja. Lastly, I reek of snake as you put it because I am Orochimaru the Snake Sannin. Try to remember that, as you will have to if you wish to be prepared for what is coming. Also, I suggest you get back to your team before my sound ninja, take care of them. Orochimaru laughed while turning into mud, leaving Naruto. I have get to them. Said Naruto, and with that he was off. Naruto arrived to a scene he didn't wish to see. Sasuke and Lee were unconscious, Sakura was badly beaten and bleeding, Choji looked beaten up but was on his feet, Ino was passed out and being held by Shikamaru, who looked relatively unharmed. The area they were in was torn up and all the trees around the clearing were missing branches from heavy hits. What happened here? Asked Naruto from the branch he was standing on. Oh great, more leaf ninja, you guys are like cockroaches, slam one down and two more crawl out. Said the bandaged sound ninja. You will pay for hurting my comrades, yelled Naruto, transforming into his tailless form. Naruto blitzed the sound ninja. In no time at all the ninja was exhausted and badly beaten. While this was going on, almost all Genin conscious were thinking, is this Naruto? Naruto was about to punch the ninja in the gut but stopped a hair away. Sasuke rose up covered in purple chakra and had strange marks covering half of his body. Sakura, who did this to you? He asked in a calm voice. We did, and you're going to experience the same thing they did, boasted one of the sound ninja. Zaku, no wait, cried the ninja Naruto was next to. Slicing sound wave, yelled Zaku while blasting air out of his palms at Sasuke, Sakura and Lee. When the dust cleared, nothing was there. See Dosu, nothing to worry about, said Zaku before Sasuke appeared behind him and struck him with his forearm, sending him into Naruto, who stabbed both his arms with a kunai and quick jabs before kicking him away. Sasuke appeared behind him and grabbed his arms with his foot on his back. You seem very proud of these arms, very attached to them, said Sasuke while pulling his arms. What are you doing? Asked Zaku before crying out in pain due to having his arms dislocated. Looks like you're the only one left, stated Sasuke before walking to Dosu. No, stop, yelled Sakura before clamping onto Sasuke from behind. Please stop, she whimpered. Sasuke turned, looked at her, and the marks begun to recede. You two are strong, in fact too strong for us, said Dosu in pain. We will make a trade, we will give you our scrolls if you spare us, said Dosu. Keep it, said Naruto, who pulled out their heaven scroll as well as the earth scroll he retrieved. But when you see Orochimaru, tell him, I'm going to take his head for what he has done, said Naruto, releasing massive killer intent. Very well, but next time we won't run from you. We will fight, said Dosu while picking up his teammates and then leaving. After he left there was uncomfortable silence before Naruto spoke up. Hey Choji, you got any food? I'm starving. He laughed cheerfully while everyone blinked and stared at him, wondering how his personality could change from serious to childish in moments. What, I'm hungry, I ran across half the forest to get here, he said, noticing everyone's looks. Choji threw him a packet of chips which he devoured in seconds, offering Choji the last chip, who happily accepted. Ino went over to Sakura and Tenten shook Lee awake. Sakura, what's the deal with Naruto? Asked Ino. He has changed a lot since the academy. That part we remember from the academy is still there somewhere, but sometimes he becomes a totally different person and acts serious. But he is still nothing compared to Sasuke, she replied. Ino stored that bit of information away before getting on Sakura's case for hugging Sasuke, corresponding in kind, teasing her about how she is jealous. Shikamaru and Choji were sitting with Naruto, both giving him curious glances until he spoke. What? They looked at him before Choji asked what was that all about. What was what about? He replied, feigning stupidity. When did you get so serious? Supplied Shikamaru, who was also intrigued about Naruto. Oh, that. I don't like anyone who hurt my comrades, he replied with a smile. Choji accepted this while Shikamaru was wondering when Naruto changed. Neji was the most suspicious as his Byakugan had been activated when he arrived and saw traces of purple chakra on the Uchiha and red on the Uzumaki. The strange thing was both of their chakras appeared demonic. Interesting, thought Neji before jumping down to Lee and Tenten. Line break. After a while the Leaf Ninja left 3 at a time until it was Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto left. We need to get to the tower, Sakura needs medical attention now, stated Naruto while picking Sakura up. Sasuke nodded and Sakura helped him up and they left heading to the tower while Sakura told Naruto what happened about how Orochimaru ambushed them, how Sasuke had gotten bitten, and how she tried fighting of the sound ninja until Lee and Team 10 arrived. Sakura, know this, if you don't train you are only a burden to this team, said Naruto. Sakura was going to retort but Naruto's intel told her. Sasuke will become more interested in you if you become stronger. Time skip. They arrived at the tower with no trouble and entered to find a scroll with writing on it hanging from the wall which Sakura started reading. If qualities of heaven are your desire, acquire wisdom to take your mind higher. If earthly qualities are what you lack, train your body and prepare to attack. When heaven and earth are open together, the perilous path will be righteous forever. This something is the secret way that guides us from this place today. She finished. Something? Questioned Sasuke. It looks like there is a word missing or something, replied Sakura. I think it means we should open the scrolls now. Naruto and Sasuke opened one each. The scrolls exploded into smoke and in the smoke there was a man. They waited for the smoke to clear until the person was visible. It's you, said Sasuke. Hey guys, long time no see, said Iruka smiling. Junin preliminaries. Iruka-sensei, what are you doing here? Asked Naruto. I'm here to welcome you back and congratulate you on passing the second phase of the Chunin exams, said Iruka smiling. Iruka told them about the purpose of the second exam, which in addition to survival, was to test the integrity of the ninja, to not read classified documents or in this case the scrolls. After that he bid them farewell and they went into the tower's inner area. Naruto found out that Kiba's team had already arrived as well as Gaara's team. Since there were still 2 days until the exams were over, Naruto decided to spar with his clones. After placing Sakura in the designated medical ward so they could look her over, he looked around for a place where he could be alone and found that the arena, which depicted a gigantic set of hands making a seal with a viewing platform, was completely empty. He then created clones and started THR spar. Time skip. After 2 hours, Naruto had decided he had enough practice. He was about to leave the area when Gaara approached him. "Naruto Uzumaki," he said in that same monotonous tone he always used. "Gaara," replied Naruto, inclining his head slightly to see Gaara as he was sitting on the floor. "Would you like to sit down?" offered Naruto, gesturing to the floor next to him. Gaara politely declined but went on to speak. "When you mentioned that word to me, friends, I could not understand you. I thought you were someone who could understand my pain. Why does me having friends make you think I don't understand your pain?" inquired Naruto. "Those with friends cannot understand me as I live only for myself and to prove my existence. It is because of my loneliness that I am, as I am. I was born in the loneliness. I came into this world by taking the life of what I would have called my mother, at which point I was constantly feared for what I contained. I thought I could trust people in my naivety, but my father disproved this with his constant assassination attempts on my life, the life of his own flesh and blood." He paused before continuing. "I realized that I couldn't trust my father, and he realized that he couldn't kill me, so he sent me to my uncle. I thought it was then that I had someone I could trust, but this was a lie, as one day he was ordered to kill me by my father. However, despite this order, he told me, after I had almost killed him, that he could have declined. It was then that I realized I had no one, which was further punctuated by the fact that he told me he hated me and in a last-ditch effort gave up his life in an attempt to kill me," finished Gaara. Naruto looked into his eyes and thought he saw anguish in them. "Tell me, why is it that you fight Uzumaki?" asked Gaara. "I fight to protect those important to me. My girlfriend told me that if you have someone to fight for, you become truly strong," said Naruto. "I don't understand, others make you weak and can cause you to die if you rely on them," said Gaara, confused. "Gaara, I make you this promise, I will make you understand, because even though you don't believe it, I have suffered just as you have, but I found a way to achieve true strength, and it is this that I shall show you," said Naruto. "I think you are a fool, Uzumaki, but if you can prove that my way is wrong and your way is better, I will try to change. However, if you cannot prove your way is better than mine, I will crush you, drench my sand in your blood, and prove my existence," stated Gaara before walking off. Kabuto and his team meet with Orochimaru before the next stage of the exams start, and Kabuto gives him the intel he's gathered on Sasuke. 2 days later, the second phase of the exams was now over. The teams that made it were Team 7, 8 and 10, Guy's team, the Sound team, the Sand team and Kabuto's team. The teams assembled in the arena that Naruto had been practicing in before, with the Hokage standing in front of the Genin with their Jounin behind him. He told them that the Chunin exams serve the purpose of not only testing ninja, but also of moderating the levels of the ninja in each nation, as well as developing friendship. "Just tell me the details of the exam, I can handle anything you can throw at me," said Gaara when the Hokage finished speaking and answering other questions. "Very well, I will now tell you exactly what the details of the third exam are," said the Hokage. Just then Hade appeared bowing in front of the Hokage and asked him if he could speak first, to which the Hokage obliged. Hade explained that they needed to hold a preliminary as there were too many people, which was met with cries of outrage, but he justified it by talking about the fact that many important nobles and feudal lords would be coming to see them and they didn't want to waste their time, and that they were only looking for the best of the best shinobi. "The preliminaries will begin immediately. If any of you aren't in top physical condition, now is the time to quit," said Hade. Kabuto gave up, but no one else did. Sakura wanted Sasuke to, but he told her that the only reason he fights is to test himself and that all the best are here. "So what, am I supposed to just watch you suffer?" "I can't bear to watch," cried Sakura. "Then don't watch. But stay out of it, has nothing to do with you. I am an Avenger, whether I become a Chunin or not means less than nothing to me. My goal is to test myself against the best, and the best of the best are all here," replied Sasuke. "Sasuke, she just cares about you, you don't have to be so mean," Naruto said playfully. "Naruto, you are one of the ones I want to fight the most," said Sasuke, grinning, which caused Naruto to grin sadistically at Sasuke. "Now, the preliminaries will follow sudden death elimination of one-on-one matches, with only the winner moving on to the third exam. As for the rules, there are none. You will fight until one dies or concedes defeat or is rendered physically incapable of continuing. Naturally, those who are losing are encouraged to quit to avoid having a fatal outcome. Also, as proctor, I will intervene if the situation seems hopeless to save as many lives as possible. Now we will see what fate is in store for you," said Hade. Anko spoke a command and a panel on the back wall diagonal from the hands opened, revealing a screen. The panel you see will give the names of the 2 competitors who are chosen completely at random. I guess there is nothing more to say, so let's begin. Concluded Hade. The screen begun going through names and landed on Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoroi Akato, but everyone whose name was not just shown, please go to the upper level. Said Hade. Kakashi walked by Sasuke and said, don't use your Sharingan. If you let that curse seal take over, I'll have to jump in and stop the match. Good luck. Stop the match? Thought Sasuke in fear of not being able to fight. But Sasuke Uchiha, Yoroi Akato, are you ready? Asked Hade. Yeah. Confirmed Sasuke. Yes. Agreed Yoroi. Yoroi's appearance was greatly concealed by the mask he wore around his mouth that hung to around his neck, sunglasses that obscured his eyes, and his forehead protector which he wore like a bandana. He also wore what appeared to be the standard attire of his team, consisting of a high-collared, sleeveless navy blue shirt with a short-sleeved, white one underneath, a simple obi around his waist, pants, sandals and fingerless gloves. In that case, let the first match of the preliminaries begin, announced Hade. Sasuke jumped back and pulled out a kunai, while Yoroi put his hand in front of his body and surrounded it with chakra. Yoroi flung 3 shuriken at Sasuke and who sent them back with his kunai. Aw. Cringed Sasuke. Damn it, this thing is responding to my chakra. Thought Sasuke as he raised his hand to his curse seal. Your mind, shouted Yoroi as he charged at Sasuke. Sasuke swept his leg and locked Yoroi's arm between his legs. Got him? Sasuke smirked, thinking he had him captured, but then Yoroi turned his hand around and grabbed Sasuke's collar. I feel so weak. Thought Sasuke. Yoroi then brought his arm down and intended to hit Sasuke's solar plexus, but Sasuke released his hold and slid away. Got you? Said Yoroi, who leapt up and grabbed Sasuke by his head and pushed him to the ground. My chakra, what are you doing? Gasped Sasuke. Haha, you're just noticing it now, are you? Laughed Yoroi. So weak, what am I going to do? Thought Sasuke. At that moment thought about how weak he was compared to others. Zabuza, Naruto, the grass ninja, Haku and Itachi. Why am I so weak? Sasuke thought. Sasuke, are you gonna get beaten by this weakling? If you can't even beat this weakling, then how are you gonna kill your brother? Naruto. Hearing Naruto say this lit a fire inside Sasuke. I won't lose here. Said Sasuke. Sasuke coiled up his legs and extended them, quickly pushing Yoroi off him. When he was getting up he saw Lee. That's it. He thought before charging at Yoroi. Sasuke flipped onto his hand and gave Yoroi a powerful super kick which sent him into the air. Sasuke then used the dancing leaf shadow and appeared behind Yoroi in midair. Okay, I'll admit I borrowed that move, but from here, it's all original. Said Sasuke. Sasuke swung his leg to kick Yoroi in the ribs. Yoroi blocked it, but it was a distraction as Sasuke used the momentum to swing his arm up and nail Yoroi in his neck and send him flying down. I'm back, I'm not done yet, said Sasuke, who then kicked him down and finally gave him an axe kick, smashing him onto the floor while saying Lion's Barrage. Hade looked at Yoroi and Sasuke. Yoroi was unconscious and Sasuke was still conscious but tired. Winner, Sasuke Uchiha. Hade announced. Kakashi appeared behind Sasuke and said, let's go, we need to get that mark sealed up. And we go after the matches? Asked Sasuke. No sorry. Said Kakashi, giving his eye smile and body flickered with Sasuke. After they left, The board spit out 2 more names. Next match, Shino Aburam vs Aku Abumi, will the contestants please come down? Called Hade. Line break. Sasuke and Kakashi were in a dimly lit room with candles being the only light source. Sasuke was shirtless and sat in the middle of a large seal array. Okay Sasuke, the seal I'm about to put on you will seal up the curse mark, however, it is only as strong as your will, so you have to make sure it doesn't break. Said Kakashi. Kakashi made numerous hand signs before saying curse sealing. Sasuke cried out in pain for a while as all the kanji crawled across the floor in his body and went inside the curse mark, forming a ring around the mark, at which point he passed out. Line break. If you fight me you won't be able to recover. Forfeit. Said Shino in his stoic monotone voice. Hey, what do you know, looks like I have a bit of movement in one. Said Zaku as his left arm started twitching before he pulled it out of the sling and aimed it at Shino. One good arm is all I need to beat you, shouted Zaku as he charged at Shino. Zaku attempted a straight punch at Shino's face, but Shino raised his arm and blocked it. I told you, you can't beat me. Spoke Shino. Oh yeah, slicing sound wave, shouted Zaku as air came rushing out of the hole in his palm which blasted Shino away. Line break. Why, you've grown, Kakashi, to think you can perform the curse sealing. Said Orochimaru, who appeared from behind a pillar. What are you doing here? Demanded Kakashi, taking a defensive stance. Long time no see, Kakashi, but I didn't come here for you. I have some business with that boy behind you. Replied Orochimaru. What do you want with Sasuke? Asked Kakashi, narrowing his single eye. It seems as though you have gained something since the last time we met, the Sharingan in your left eye, how I envy your good fortune. Said Orochimaru, who then paused before continuing. It is only fair that I should want it too. Don't you think? The power of the Uchiha. Finished Orochimaru. Line break. Shino calmly stood up and stared down Zaku. "I told you, you can't beat me, look behind you," said Shino. Zaku looked behind him and his eyes widened seeing heaps of bugs when Shino spoke again. "You are trapped now, you have one arm which you can use to attack me, but if you do, my bugs will be upon you. On the other hand, you could attack my bugs, but that would leave you open to me. It's always a good idea to have an ace in the hole," finished Shino, who began to gather up his chakra while forming the ram sign. Line break. "You know this sound village that everyone is so curious about, it's mine," said Orochimaru. "You see, in order to play the game you need pieces to put on the chessboard, willing pawns," elaborated Orochimaru. "So, is Sasuke one of these pawns?" asked Kakashi. "No, Sasuke is a much more valuable piece than a pawn," said Orochimaru. Line break. Zaku's other arm started to twitch and he pulled it out of his sling. "Hey, what do you know, I got movement in my other arm as well." "Always have an ace in the hole, isn't that what you said?" asked Zaku, who then fully extended his arm and pointed one at Shino and one at the bug slicing sound wave. Shouted Zaku. Nothing came out of his wind holes, but his arms were blasted off at the elbow. "Ugh, what is this?" cried Zaku in pain. Shino appeared behind Zaku and spoke. "I plugged up both of you arms, just in case you were faking. It seems I was wise to do so." "Well, I did say an ace in the hole is good, 2 aces in the hole is better," said Shino, who then punched Zaku in the back, sending him sprawling on the ground and almost unconscious. Pei checked Zaku before announcing winner, Shino Aburam. Line break. Orochimaru stepped forward towards Sasuke and Kakashi charged up a lighting blade in response. "Take one more step and one of us will die here. I don't care if you're one of the Sannin, the legendary 3 ninja, come any closer to Sasuke and I'll kill you," shouted Kakashi, his lone eye blazing in fury. Orochimaru started laughing and then looked Kakashi straight in the eye. "Kakashi, you're very brave and very stupid. I'll leave for now, but Sasuke is an avenger. One day he will come looking for me in search of power," said Orochimaru as he walked away before he paused and said, "Unless you follow through with your threat to kill me, that is," stated Orochimaru while releasing a bit of bloodlust. Kakashi was terrified but kept his lighting blade going in an attempt to hide his fear. Orochimaru kept laughing and walked away until he disappeared from sight. "One of us will die here. I must have been out of my mind," thought Kakashi in fear. Kakashi then used a body flicker and appeared behind Naruto and Sakura. "Oh, Kakashi-sensei, you're back. How's Sasuke?" asked Sakura. "Oh, he's fine, but I think you should be more worried about yourself now. Look," said Kakashi pointing towards the board as it showed. Sakura Haruno vs Ino Yamanaka. The two begin fighting instantly, although they both failed to successfully attack the other. Niji wonders if their fighting skill is the best Kunoichi can do, only for Tenten to state that their lack of fighting prowess is not because they are female, but rather because they are restraining themselves. Sakura, unwilling to lose to Ino and not happy with the fact that Ino is pulling her punches and taking pity on her, insults Ino. The flashback is shown, where Ino teaches Sakura about the significance of flowers in an arrangement. She uses the cosmos flower as an example, and that Terraward works to complement it. Sakura asks if that means she's just there to compliment Ino's beauty, to which she denies, adding Sakura is a bud waiting to bloom. Another memory is shown, where Sakura tells Ino that when she chooses to wear her forehead protector properly, that's when she becomes a true shinobi. After trading insults, Sakura removes her forehead protector from her head and places it on her forehead. Ino removes hers from her waist and also places it on her forehead. As true rivals, the pair then rush at one another, finally deciding to take the battle seriously. Sakura and Ino continue exchanging blows with neither able to gain the upper hand and running out of chakra. She berates Ino for being too focused on beauty rather than her kunoichi skills, causing her to cut her hair off and throw it on the ground. Desperate, Ino decides to use mind-body transfer to force Sakura to forfeit, despite knowing how inaccurate it is and that she will be left immobile if it misses. Sakura dodges the attack and appears to have won, but finds herself trapped by the strands of Ino's cut hair, which have been infused with chakra to form a binding rope. Ino reveals to only have pretended to miss on purpose, intending to lead her into the trap. She uses mind-body transfer again, knowing it can't miss now, and succeeds on gaining control of Sakura's body. Having gained control, Ino tries to make Sakura forfeit the match. Just then, Naruto yells at her to not to give up, prompting inner Sakura to appear and force Ino out of her head. Although confused by what happened, Ino lacks the energy to try again. Kakashi presumes that Ino's lack of chakra was a factor in Sakura's small victory, but also takes note of her strong will. They both charge at each other to exchange final blows, resulting in a double knockout. Heiei decides that neither of them will pass to the next round. Pankuro vs Misumi Kabuto's teammate. Pankurm easily wins his battle against Misumi by tricking him into attacking Karasu, Kankurm's puppet. In retaliation, Karasu snaps Misumi's neck, though he survives due to his ability to contort himself. Junin Preliminaries 2, Shikamaru vs Kin. Shikamaru tries the shadow imitation technique, but Kin easily evades and throws some senbon with bells attached to him. Shikamaru recognizes the trick and mocks her for using such basic techniques. Kin then rings the bells on the senbon, starting her genjutsu. Shikamaru gets caught in Kin's bell ring genjutsu, unable to move, while Kin proceeds to attack him with more senbon. However, when Kin tries to attack again, she suddenly realizes that she can't move. Shikamaru tells her that he extended his shadow imitation technique through the shadow of the wire she's holding. He then throws a shuriken at Kin, which she imitates. When Shikamaru ducks backwards to evade it, Kin is forced to imitate him, but she did not realize that she was too close to the wall, hitting her head and knocking herself out. Naruto vs Kiba. Hey look Akamaru, it's us against the dead last. Looks we just won the lottery. Kiba. Akamaru barked in agreement. Next match Kiba Inuzuka vs Naruto Uzumaki. Will the contestants please come down? Called Hade. Sorry Kiba, don't take it personally if I blow you away. Naruto. Ugh, that is just what I was going to say. Only not so politely, right Akamaru? Akamaru barked in agreement. Talk is cheap Kiba, let's wait until the end of the match. Naruto. Sorry Kakashi, but your boy doesn't matter how much he has changed. He still does not stand a chance against Kiba. Kurenai. Is that so? Like Naruto said, talk is cheap. Let's make a bet, if Naruto wins you go on a date with him. Kakashi. And if Kiba wins you have to stop reading those perverted books for a year and come early to all your meetings. They both agreed to the bet. Kurenai Kiba does not stand a chance against Naruto. He is probably the strongest of the Chunin candidates. Thought Kakashi. I wonder how much stronger he has gotten since he became a genin. Probably not much. Thought Kiba. Look, I feel sorry for you, so I am gonna finish you with one blow. Kiba. Let's just fight Kiba. I got better things to do than waste my time on you. Naruto. You sure talk tough, you dead last. Kiba. If you are ready you can begin. Hade. Yes, both Naruto and Kiba said. Begin, said Hade. Naruto then talks about what he should get for lunch, dango or ramen, and turns his back on Kiba. Kiba jumps up behind Naruto and Hinata warns him of the ambush. Tunneling Fang. Shouted Kiba as he leapt at Naruto and begun spinning. Naruto dodges Kiba's attack. The attack hit the ground. That caused a dust cloud to appear. After the dust settled, Naruto was sitting on his Kiba's back. Kiba then turned around to hit Naruto with a palm strike. Naruto grabbed his hand and tossed him aside. When Kiba landed he got up to attack Naruto. He attacked Naruto with a kick which Naruto dodged. After Naruto dodged Kiba's kick, Kiba then threw a punch at Naruto, which Naruto dodged. Naruto swiftly appears behind Kiba and says he's going to show off to the audience. He hits Kiba with a powerful blow which sends him flying. Kiba survived the attack. Kiba hated to admit that Naruto was strong. Kiba decided it was time to use his ultimate move. Kiba then told Akamaru it was time to use the human-beast combination transformation. Double-headed wolf. Akamaru barked and it went to Kiba. Kiba and Akamaru performed the combination transformation to take the shared form of a two-headed wolf. After transforming they performed the wolf fang over fang. The attack breaks up the ground and causes a shockwave. Kiba believes that his attack landed, but once the dust settles, he sees Naruto unharmed. His infinity stopped the attack. The attack used a lot of Kiba's chakra. Kiba was exhausted. Naruto saw this. Naruto then used his speed to appear behind Kiba. He hit Kiba with a chop to the neck, knocking him unconscious. Winner of the match Naruto. Hate. Everyone stared at Naruto, and most were thinking something along the lines of when did Naruto become this good, while Gaara stared at him going over what he had said in his head. Meanwhile, the Leaf villagers were glaring at Naruto. What just happened? This is impossible, how could Kiba lose? Kurenai thought. Kurenai, don't forget our bet. You have to go on a date with Naruto. Kakashi. Medics came to pick up Kiba. After they took Kiba, Hade announced that would have a small break. Time skip, on with the next match. Said Hade as the board started going through names before landing on Neji Hyuga vs Hinata Hyuga. Both walked down, Neji with a purposeful stride and Hinata with a timid stride. I never thought that we would have to fight each other, Hinata. Said Neji. Nor I, brother. Replied Hinata. Brother. Are they brother and sister? Asked Naruto while slightly raising his left eyebrow. No, they're both members of the Hyuga clan. Technically they're cousins. Answered Kakashi. Still their family, it must be hard for them. Said Sakura. It may not be as hard you think. I heard that there is some bad blood between the main and branch houses. The branch family, which Neji is a part of, is upset with something the main family, which Hinata is a part of, did. Additionally, Neji is considered a genius of the clan, while Hinata is seen as a disgrace. Furthermore, Neji, being a branch member, is forced into being under the control of the main branch. Finished Lee. Give up, Hinata. You can't deceive my eyes. When you looked up, you remembered your past, your bitter past. Then you glanced down and thought what would happen if you fought me and realized you would lose. Also, your habit of raising your arm up in front of yourself while touching your lip is your way of putting a wall between us. People can't change, once a failure always a failure. You never really wanted to be in the Chunin exams, but to apply you need a team of 3, and you didn't want to let Kiba or Shino down, didn't you? Said Niji with increasing intensity. No, you're wrong, I wanted to see if I could change. Said Hinata. Like I said, once a failure always a failure. People can't change. Said Niji. Don't listen to him, Hinata, me and Shino believe in you. You can change. Said Kiba. Some fire has returned to her eyes. Thought Niji. Hinata made hand signs before shouting Byakugan. Hinata took a stance and said, defend yourself, brother. Niji mirrored the stance. Let the 4th match begin. Said Hade. Niji charged and shot an open palm strike at Hinata, which she blocked with her own palm thrust to the inside of Niji's arm, which sent chakra flying out of their hands. This kept up until Hinata struck Niji in his stomach. Did she get him? Asked Sakura. Kakashi raised his headband and had a look amazing. Was all he said. Niji pulled Hinata's sleeve back and there were a bunch of angry-looking red marks on her arm. You mean, all this time you were, mumbled Hinata. Yes, I have sealed all the chakra points in your arms. You can no longer use the gentle fist as you can no longer eject chakra from your hands. Give up. Commanded Niji. Hinata trembled, unsure of herself, when Niji spoke up again. Hinata, you are the pampered offspring of the main branch. Despite this, you are too gentle and caring, you should never have become a shinobi. As a shinobi you are meant to be cruel, uncaring and hold no sympathy for others in your way, you can't do this as it conflicts with your very nature and therefore you are suffering. Spoke Niji condescendingly. Brother, while it is true I have been suffering, you have been suffering much more than I. Hinata said softly. Niji's eyes hardened in an instant and he sent 2 palm thrusts, one to her gut and one to her face. She then tried to rise but coughed up a fair bit of blood. After regaining herself she got up again, but Hei could tell it was over and was about to say so, but Niji charged at Hinata with murder in his eyes. As Niji was about 2 meters away, all of the Leaf Jounin and Hei jumped in to save Hinata. Niji, you told me you wouldn't let this whole main branch thing affect you. Said Guy. Hinata coughed up more blood and Kurenai called for medics. The recovered Kiba jumped down to attack Niji, but Shino created a wall with his bug stopping him. You'll pay, you hear me, I'll get you. Said Kiba. HMPH, there is no way you can beat me. Scoffed Niji before walking off. As Niji walked back up, Naruto confronted him. I may not know what is going on in your clan, but to belittle and crush a person's self-esteem just because you have a grudge is childish. If I meet you in a battle during the Chunin exams, I will show you people can change and that being a genius does not make you better than others. Said Naruto, who walked away before Niji could respond. Temari vs Tenten. Tenten makes the first move and Temari easily dodges it. Team Guy was surprised that no weapon could even scratch or hit Temari. Tenten tries another attack that Temari repels using wind from her giant folding fan, before warning Tenten that if she sees all 3 stars moons in the English anime in her fan, the fight will be over. Tenten uses her twin rising dragons technique. Uncovering the 2nd star, Temari repels the attack, then Tenten uses strings to reuse the weapons. Uncovering the 3rd star, Temari repels the attack and traps Tenten in a cyclone. When Tenten falls from the cyclone, Temari makes her land on her fan, knocking her out. After being declared winner, Temari tries to throw Tenten on the many weapons scattered on the floor, but Rock Lee descends and catches her. He then attacks Temari, only to be stopped by Might Guy, who warns the Suna shinobi to not underestimate Lee. Lee vs Gaara. After a long wait, Rock Lee is matched to fight against Gaara. He begins the fight by attacking with Taijutsu, but his attacks are blocked by Gaara's sand. To bypass the speed of his shield, Guy permits Lee to remove his leg weights. In doing so, Lee's speed increases and he manages to land hits, only to discover Gaara's body is coated in sand. Opening the first of the 8 gates, Lee launches Gaara into the air with several kicks. Catching him with his bandages, Lee uses the front lotus, only to discover he used it on a clone. Lee's target was actually only a decoy, a hollow clone made of sand. Gaara reappears and fights Lee, who is now weak from using his front lotus again. Lee quickly recovers, demonstrating his ability to open the 2nd gate. He then powers himself up by opening the 3rd gate, frightening even Gaara. Guy and Niji have flashbacks to before Lee became a genin and right after he became one, showing his determination to be a respectable ninja through only the use of Taijutsu. Lee's speed proved too much for Gaara and his sand was no longer able to form a shield fast enough to be of use. Lee opened the 5th gate and used his most powerful attack, Reverse Lotus. Gaara survived this final blow due to him softening his fall by turning his gourd into sand and used the sand to crush Lee's left arm and leg. Gaara moved his sand to finish Lee, but Guy jumped in to protect his student. Lee, although unconscious due to the pain, rose to continue the battle, his desire to win fueling his broken body. Guy wept at Lee's dedication and Lee was taken away to recover. The medical ninja announced that Lee's injuries were too severe to be completely healed and that he would never be able to fight as a ninja again. Guy regretted teaching Lee such dangerous techniques and vacated the ring for the final match. Dosu vs Choji. Jai used his human bullet tank technique with the assumption that he was safe from Dosu's sound technique, but Dosu attacked and defeated him with one blow. After the final fight, all the genin who made it through to the finals came down. The Hokage told them that the exam finals would happen in a month to give them time to prepare and allow important dignitaries to arrive. Now to decide who will face who in the finals, you will each draw a number, said the Hokage. After everyone drew and said their number, the matches were determined as follows. First match Naruto vs Neji. Second match Gaara vs Sasuke. Third match Kankuro vs Shino. Fourth match Temari vs Dosu. Fifth match fourth match winner vs Shikamaru. You now know who you will be facing, so use this month to plan accordingly and also to rest and recover. Until then, let us adjourn until next month. Finished the Hokage. Line break. Elsewhere, Kabuto prepares to kidnap Sasuke under Orochimaru's orders, but he is stopped by Kakashi and is forced to retreat. Line break. After the Hokage's announcement, Naruto left and begun to wander around the Leaf Village until he came by the hot springs and saw a 50-something-year-old man looking in on the women's baths. Pervert Naruto screamed at the man, causing him to fall and hit the side of the hot springs. The women inside heard the noise and ran away, covering themselves up, causing the man to cry. The man looked at Naruto and growled. "You just destroyed my research," shouted the man. The man was tall with waist-length, spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail, with two shoulder-length bangs that framed both sides of his face. He also had red lines that ran down from his eyes and wore a horned forehead protector with a kanji for oil in the center. He also had a noticeable wart on the right side of his nose. He wore a green short shirt, kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that showed out of the sleeves and legs of his outfit. His outfit was completed with hand guards, a simple black belt, wooden sandals, a red cloak with two simple yellow circles, and a scroll on his back. He also had a tattoo in his left palm which appeared to be swirl-like tribal marking. Naruto recognized this man. This was his so-called godfather Jiraiya of the Sannin. Yeah, research. First I meet a creepy white guy who smells like snakes, and now I meet an old pervert who smells like toads, said Naruto as he walked away. Snakes? No, it couldn't be, thought the old man. Hey wait, kid, what did you mean by a white guy that smells like snakes? Asked the old man. I don't have time for this, but if you really want to know, it was some guy called Orochimaru. Later, pervert, said Naruto, who jumped away. Wait, who are you, kid? Jiraiya. Naruto Uzumaki Gojo. Naruto. So the fourth's legacy met Orochimaru and wait, Gojo. Interesting. Jiraiya. Hey, it's the pervert, let's get him, shouted the women from the bath, now fully clothed. Oh crap, I better run, thought Jiraiya, who was chased by about 50 angry women. Line break. I wonder if the pervert got away, said Naruto to himself as he walked around the village. Hey, I'm not a pervert, said the old man, appearing in front of Naruto. Oh yeah, then what are you? Asked Naruto. I'm a super pervert, said the man before summoning a toad and doing a dance on it while saying, I am a man who makes ladies swoon with his good looks and men tremble in fear from his very name, the sage of Mount Myaboku, one of the legendary 3 Sannin. I am Jiraiya. Lame, said Naruto in a monotonous voice which caused Jiraiya to fall off his toad. Hey you little brat, show me some respect, I'm a Sannin, for crying out loud, one of 3 people in all the land. A legendary ninja, said Jiraiya as he stood up indignantly. In my experience, respect is earned from the individual, not the title. Now if you'll excuse me, I got places to be and women to please, said Naruto as he walked away. Jiraiya just stared after him with his mouth wide open. After speaking to Naruto, Jiraiya goes to speak to Hiruzen about Naruto. Hiruzen then tells him about Naruto. Jiraiya was surprised to hear that Naruto was strong enough to defeat one of the members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Time skip night. At Kikyo Castle, Dosu tries to kill Gaara so he can fight Sasuke in the finals, only to be easily killed by a transformed Gaara, which horrifies Dosu before his death. Baki and Kabuto look on from the sidelines, having witnessed the attack. Baki and Kabuto then discuss their plans to attack Konoha. Jackman heard the conversation. After he heard the plans, he attempts to leave in order to notify the 3rd Hokage, but he is killed by Baki. Hei's body was later found by a group of Anbu with Ikao Yazuki, wondering aloud what had happened. Next day, Sakura sits in her bedroom worried about Sasuke. Meanwhile, the 3rd Hokage has a meeting with the Junin regarding Jackman's body found near Kikum Castle. They discuss Orochimaru's involvement, although the Hokage concludes that they do not have any information regarding to the latter. He also expresses his trust to the shinobi that if Itagakure and Sunagakure invade Konohagakure, they would assemble and fight. Later, Sakura goes to Yamanaka Flowers to buy flowers for Sasuke, where Ino is in charge of running the shop. After deducing that Sakura is there to buy flowers for Sasuke, Ino decides to visit him as well. Ino picks a rose, and Sakura picks 2 daffodils, one for Sasuke and the other for Rock Lee. On their way, they hear Chimjai eating loudly. Peeking through an open window, they spot Asuma Sarutobi and Shikamaru, who are seated with Choji. In exchange for training with Shikamaru every day, Asuma has been treating Choji to barbecue. In the woods, Niji is shown training with Tenten. During his training, Niji collapses after having used too much chakra. Team Kurenai trains in the woods too to prepare for Shino's match. Elsewhere, the three Sand siblings and Baki secretly discuss their invasion plans. At the hospital, the nurse permits Ino and Sakura only 5 minutes of visitation due of Sasuke's condition. However, Sasuke and his clothes are missing. Kakashi is undergoing the cliff climbing practice and after nearly falling to his death, activates the first gate. Kakashi uses his increased strength to make it to the top of the rock, only to see Sasuke waiting there for him. Back at the hospital, Lee is also missing from his bed. Sakura spots Lee outside, performing his push-ups. Sakura recalls Ino telling her that Lee's injuries were severe to the point that he would never be a shinobi again. After completing 199 out of 200 push-ups, Lee collapses. Lee later wakes up in his hospital bed and notices a daffodil, realizing that someone had come to visit him earlier. Next day, Naruto decides to go visit Lee at the hospital. He meets Shikamaru on his way there. Shikamaru gives Naruto a fruit basket originally intended for Chimjai, who has been hospitalized for indigestion, having eaten too much. Sakura goes to Lee's room and replaces the flour. As Chimjai complains of his hunger, Ino walks in with a fruit basket for him. Gaara enters Lee's room and attempts to kill him while he is unconscious, but Naruto and Shikamaru immediately stop him. Incapacitated by Shikamaru's shadow imitation technique, Gaara divulges a little bit about his past, revealing he has the one-tailed beast Shukaku sealed within him from birth and was created solely as a weapon for his village. Though he became too unpredictable, and his father sent assassins after him regularly to put an end to the threat. He failed at the very purpose he was given life and can now only hurt others. Naruto sympathizes, as he also has a tailed beast within him. He attempts to kill the two of them, but Guy steps in and demands Gaara to leave at once. Gaara has no choice but to do so, but before doing it, he promises that he'll kill them all. After Gaara leaves, Naruto tells to get better soon and also leaves. He decided to walk around the village. He came across Kurenai while walking. She told him about the bet with Kakashi. Naruto told her it was fine. She didn't need to go out with him. She told him a bet is a bet. After seeing she was not going to budge on her decision, he decided to accept her decision. Kurenai told him to meet her at house later. Time skip. Naruto stood outside of Kurenai's house, a small bouquet of flowers in his hands. She looked at herself in the mirror, congratulating herself for choosing the right dress for the occasion. She didn't know where he would take her. After a while she decided to go open her door. She opened the door and looked at him, taking in every little detail about him. She couldn't believe how handsome Naruto was. "Shall we go, Naruto-kun?" Kurenai. She was taking a wild guess that he'd like to be called that, and to her amusement, he smirked and then held out his hand, as if to guide her, something which made him rise a few notches in her eyes. She liked a man who could be gentle with her, not unlike those orcs who had tried to date her before and didn't have even the slightest bit of decency. One who would lead her to a place where they could eat and converse would be one worth keeping about for at least a few weeks, maybe even promoting him to the status of official boyfriend. He led her to a restaurant which looked fancy and then asked for the table which had been reserved for him and his date. The waiter looked at him with a disdainful look and almost sneered when he saw that the demon did have a reservation there. They were led to a table where they both sat opposite of each other, looking at each other before even turning towards the waiter. "I'd like to have some fruit juice, waiter-san." Kurenai's voice was soft and almost seemed to be fragile, but the burning crimson of her eyes gave her a ferocity which went unsaid throughout that statement. "Don't you dare to ruin my date or I'll make your life a living hell," thought Kurenai. "I'll have the same, waiter-san." Naruto. The waiter sneered at him, giving him an evil look which was only given to him about 100 times a day and he was used to it. "Very well, sir, madam. I shall be with you shortly," said the waiter. The waiter went away probably to get their orders and Naruto looked at the woman who gave him a very amused look and said. There was some small amount of progress to be made with the date which seemed to make him somewhat anxious. "Kurenai-san, don't you like me or is there something that displeases you about me?" Naruto. The manner in which he spoke made her look at him and give him a rather charming smile and said. "No, Naruto-kun. I'm simply thinking about ways to improve my genjutsu. I may be a mistress of that art, but there is still room to improve upon. The density of the illusion could be adjusted to make sure that the target is engulfed within the genjutsu, with no escape possible for their minds, allowing for a quick kill. Can I use one on you to test it out?" Kurenai. She gave him the puppy dog eyes, which made him weak in the knees as he found himself unable to resist those eyes. Sure, go ahead." Kurenai. He gave her a rather cute smile due to him being caught off guard quite a bit by the question. "Thank you, Naruto-kun." Kurenai. She made a few hand seals, and then Naruto could feel how the chair underneath him seemed to transform into a bed of living snakes, and the surroundings around him changed to become a jungle setting, with Kurenai still sitting there, like nothing was amiss. Then suddenly her entire looks changed, somehow making her look even prettier when her clothes seemed to be replaced with something which should not be worn in public due to how small the furry bikini she wore. She studied his face as he looked at her, enthralled by the genjutsu she had put upon him, making him think about a jungle with him sitting on a bed of snakes, with her dressed in something that would make any male have a nosebleed. He's definitively above normal standard if he doesn't have a relationship with anyone. I just might take him for myself. To resist that genjutsu is almost impossible for any straight male, especially if my genjutsu self makes her clothes disappear, and I know he's straight. Kurenai thought. He looked on as the genjutsu version of his date began to remove the bikini, exposing her chest to him, making him excited in the face as he looked at the rather attractive side of Kurenai's chest. He looked down, trying not to stare, but he couldn't completely suppress the small smile came on his face, the only sign that he liked what he saw. The reaction in his pants was luckily not visible, something he was thankful for, because she just might make him experience her version of genjutsu hell if she saw it. But the snap, he was brought back to reality to see the woman in the seat opposite to him looking at him with a dreamy look in her eyes. "You tried not to stare," she said, a small amount of admiration and happiness in her voice. "That is so sweet of you." Kurenai, she couldn't help herself. She had went to the date with the hope of finally meeting some guy who would be a gentleman, knowing that he probably wasn't but still tried. He had surpassed her expectations, resisting the urge to ogle the genjutsu she put him under, and even going as far as to show almost no reaction, except for a cute smile which made her heart warm up, and her breath quickened slightly. She moved closer to him, smelling his scent in the air. It was something unique to everyone, something which shouldn't be faked by anyone, since everybody had a different scent around them at all times. Naruto seemed to smell like a mix of something primal. Her hand reached out and stroked the back of his hand, touching the skin and feeling how warm it was. She didn't even know why she did it, just to feel his skin, wanting to at least touch him and feel him before he either pushed her away or let her continue. "Naruto-kun Kurenai," she suddenly said, her voice making his insides like jelly, making him experience a fit of nervousness within his stomach. He looked at her, noticing her deep crimson eyes, gazing deeply into them. They didn't know who started first. They moved closer to each other and their lips met, a frenzied kiss ensuing. They acted on instinct, not really minding the other people in the restaurant, just lost in the heat of the moment, kissing each other. Kurenai felt the kindness and the spirit that this young man had been endowed with within her entire body, making her feel surprised as she could feel herself blushing at the kiss. "But Jiraiya, finally a bar which won't throw me out whenever sit next to a nice woman and ask her 3 sizes and if she would go out with me," he thought. The old pervert was slowly walking towards the restaurant in which his Naruto and Kurenai were sitting, and his attention was drawn to the sign which spoke of some sake contest being held there that evening. The name of the restaurant didn't seem too important to him, and he stepped inside to look towards the bar. The man took a seat and ordered some sake and began to try and drink away his worries with some of the good stuff until he caught a snippet of conversation. "That demon brat kissing that woman," said a villager. Some gesturing was made by an irritated waiter, and Jiraiya moved his gaze until it fell upon the side of the kissing couple, noticing the white hair mixing slightly with the black hair from Kurenai. "Damn, the kid moves fast. I wonder who he is gonna date next," thought Jiraiya. The couple broke the kiss, and Jiraiya got a good look at the woman who was with his godson, and promptly the cup of sake fell from his hands, unable to be kept in the hand due to the shock the man got from looking at the woman. "He just did that with the genjutsu mistress Kurenai Yuhi. Damn that lucky brat," thought Jiraiya. The old man looked at the couple who had resumed chatting, eventually getting fed up with waiting for their food and drinks, having decided that they weren't going to come anymore after waiting such a long time. Barry appeared in front of Kurenai's house, Naruto having said that the mood was ruined by the food. Not arriving, Kurenai looked at him with her eyes still slightly misty from the kiss they had shared and said, "Do you want to come inside? I have some snacks if you are hungry." Kurenai. He could see that she was still trying to be hospitable, which he accepted. She opened the door, sliding it open and allowed him to go in first, still trying to be a good hostess. He came into the house, taking a note of how nice it looked. The furniture looked nice and cozy in the setting, and it almost made him want to live here, but he knew he couldn't. "Please seat yourself, Naruto-kun Kurenai," she said, her voice somehow seeming to come from a few rooms away and not like they were in the same room at all. He turned around and looked at the brunette, taking in every little detail about her nice dress and the way it hugged her skin. Somehow he hadn't really taken notice of it all before, only looking her over once to check if she looked good. He chose to seat himself on a comfortable-looking sofa, making sure that it would be comfortable for him. "Would you like something to drink, Kurenai?" she asked, standing next to a cabinet which seemed to contain various liquors and other things people might want to drink if the objective was to get drunk. "Nah, I am not much of a drinking person." His answer was definitive and she gave him a look which clearly stated that she wanted him to drink some. Maybe a small taste wouldn't hurt. He looked at the woman who was about to hand him a glass with an orange liquid in it. It's something that isn't too strong and please call me Kurenai-chan. It tastes good, Kurenai-chan. Naruto. He watched as she took a glass two of the orange liquid, then sat down next to him, looking at him, her eyes slightly apprehensive as she probably was contemplating something. Have you ever had an intimate relationship with a girl, Naruto-kun? She asked him, wanting to find out if he ever had been in one and if he had any feelings for the women in his life, preferably the ones in his age group, though she would like to see if he would like her or others in her own age group. Naruto decided to tell Kurenai about his life. After telling he decided it was time head home. I better head home, did you have fun, Kurenai-chan? She nodded and said. It was nice, having a date with you. He gave her a smile and said. Would like to be my girlfriend. She wrapped her arms around his neck then gave him a kiss on the lips. Yes, I would love to be your girlfriend. She gave him a wink and then escorted him to the front door, where she let him out. She looked as he disappeared into the streets of Konohagakure, then whispered to herself. Thank you Kakashi for making that bet with me. Kurenai. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.